You do not win tank wars with crude machines. That is the rule. For decades, every serious army in Europe believes it. Armor must be precise, machined perfectly, optics sharp enough to cut steel at a kilometer, crews drilled like clockwork, doctrine refined by professionals. And no one believes this rule more than Germany. By 1941, the Panzer arm is the pride of the Wehrmacht. Poland crushed in weeks. France broken in 6. Entire armies shattered by fast, disciplined armor. German tank officers look at their machines and see the future of warfare, clean lines, radios in every vehicle, commanders standing tall in cupolas with perfect visibility. Then they look east. They see Soviet factories run by terror. Crews trained for weeks instead of years. Welds that look sloppy. Armor plates that seem crude. A tank that rattles, smokes, and leaks oil. German officers laugh. They call it poorly built. They call it unreliable. They call it a joke. They are about to learn what happens when you mistake simplicity for weakness. Because in 1941, on the roads and fields of the Soviet Union, one tank, and the men inside it, are about to humiliate the best panzer crews in the world. And one young lieutenant will be there when the laughter stops. Dmitry Lavrenenko is 23 years old. He is short, lean, quiet. Born in the Kuban region, raised around horses and hard soil. He joins the Red Army not for glory, but because war has arrived whether he wants it or not. By the summer of 1941, Germany launches Operation Barbarossa. 3 million men, 3,500 tanks, the largest invasion in human history. The Red Army collapses. Entire formations vanish in days. Commanders are killed or arrested. Units retreat without orders. Panic spreads faster than information. Lavrenenko is assigned to a new tank brigade equipped with a strange machine still unfamiliar even to Soviet crews. The T-34. It looks rough. Paint uneven. Interior cramped and loud. The turret barely fits 2 men. But Lavrenenko notices something immediately. The armor is sloped. Not thick but angled. Think about what that means. A German shell that should punch straight through instead glances off. Deflection instead of penetration. Physics doing the work of steel. The gun is a 76.2 mm cannon. Larger than anything most German tanks carry in 1941. The tracks are wide, built for mud and snow. The diesel engine burns cooler, less likely to ignite. It is not elegant. It is ruthless. By October 1941, German panzer divisions race toward Moscow. Confidence is absolute. They have crushed everything in their path. Lavrenenko's brigade is thrown into the chaos as a mobile fire brigade, plugging holes, counterattacking, delaying the impossible. And soon he will meet the enemy face to face. The forest is quiet. Too quiet. Lavrenenko sits inside his T-34, hands resting on cold steel, breath fogging the air. The engine idles low. Diesel fumes hang thick inside the turret. Outside, autumn rain turns the ground into sludge. Then the sound. Engines. German engines. Sure. Precise. Multiple vehicles. Moving fast. A panzer column emerges from the treeline. Panzer IIIs and IVs, gray silhouettes against yellowing leaves. Confident. Exposed. Lavrenenko does not wait. He orders the engine forward. The T-34 lurches, tracks biting deep into mud that should trap it, but doesn't. Range closes. 1,200 meters. 1,000 meters. German crews spot him. They are not alarmed. One tank. A crude Soviet machine. They open fire. A 50 mm shell slams into Lavrenenko's glassy plate. The sound is deafening. Steel screams. The tank jolts. But the shell ricochets. Inside the German turret, confusion erupts. That should have killed him. Lavrenenko fires. The T-34's gun roars. The recoil throws him forward. The shell hits a Panzer III square in the hull. The German tank explodes. Fire. Smoke. Crew scrambling out, burning. German formations halt. They adjust. They fire again. Another shell hits Lavrenenko's turret ring. It skids away. He fires again. Another Panzer dies. Now panic spreads. German tanks maneuver, trying to flank. Lavrenenko drives straight through terrain they believe impassable. Mud swallowing Panzer tracks while the T-34 keeps moving. 800 meters. 600 meters. He fires on the move. A third tank burns. The Germans finally understand. This is not a joke. This thing is hunting them. Over the next weeks, Lavrenenko fights non-stop. Ambush after ambush. Short, violent clashes. Never staying long enough for artillery to find him. In one engagement near Serpukhov, he destroys 7 German tanks in a single day. 7. German commanders report a new Soviet tank they cannot reliably kill from the front. They complain shells bounce. Guns fail. Crews panic. And the T-34 keeps coming. Lavrenenko learns to exploit every weakness. He closes distance fast. Inside 500 meters where German optics mean nothing. He fires first. He relocates immediately. 1 fight. 2 minutes. 3 dead panzers. Another fight. 4 minutes. 5 more. By December 1941, in just 2.5 months of combat, Lavernenko destroys 52 German tanks. 52. No Allied tanker will ever exceed that number. And then, in the cruel randomness of war, he steps outside his tank after a battle to report to his commander. An artillery shell lands nearby. Shrapnel tears through him. He dies instantly. 24 years old. The man who proved the joke was no joke at all is gone. Mid-roll seat. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage, sacrifice, and tactical genius deserve to be told, and by subscribing you help ensure they aren't forgotten. What Germany doesn't know, yet, is that Lavernenko is only the beginning. The T-34 spreads across the Eastern Front. Thousands, then tens of thousands. German crews change tactics. They aim for tracks. They call for artillery. They avoid frontal engagements. German engineers scramble. They redesign tanks under fire. The Panther. The Tiger. Heavier. More complex. More expensive. What the T-34 forces Germany to do is simple and devastating. It drags them into an arms race they cannot win. While Germany builds perfection slowly, the Soviet Union builds good enough, fast. By 1943 at Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, the T-34 is no longer dismissed. It is feared. German reports describe it as dangerously effective. Difficult to destroy. Superior mobility. The joke has rewritten armored warfare. Sloped armor becomes the standard. Wide tracks become essential. Reliability matters more than polish. The rule is broken forever. Dmitry Lavernenko never sees victory. His name fades for decades, buried in archives, his grave unmarked until long after the war. But his impact remains. Every modern tank, every single one, owes something to the lessons learned inside the T-34. Lavernenko is posthumously named Hero of the Soviet Union in 1990. Too late for him. But not too late for memory. Because this story matters now. It reminds you that arrogance kills. That simplicity can outfight sophistication. That history is shaped not just by machines, but by the people brave enough to trust them. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells